this is the part of the oral cavity that's inside the teeth. So inside that, the rows of teeth. And then we have the oral vestibule, which is between the teeth and the lips. That's it. The opening, of course, is the oral fissure. Okay, just a reminder of the structures forming the roof of the oral cavity. We have the bones, palatine process of the maxilla, and the horizontal plate of the palatine. Remember that the maxilla during development is two paired bones. So we have the intermaxillary suture. And then there's actually an extra little set of sutures kind of running through here. And so that, when things go wrong developmentally, we can lead to cleft palate. So you can hear the cleft palate, the suture hasn't closed already all the way, so you have the gap in the between what were the embryonic halves of the maxillary bone. Because we have that kind of extra fission here along the lip, the cleft lip is off to one side developmentally. This is part that's not closing. You can have either unilateral or bilateral. And this is often caused by additional chemicals in the body, like smoking, alcohol use during pregnancy, drug use during pregnancy, as well as there's genetic predispositions to it as well. Okay. Floor of the oral cavity. Two muscles I want you to know, the mylohyoid and the geniohyoid. Mylohyoid is the flat rod that produces the majority of the floor. And also these allow for an anchor spot for the tongue.
Which one? They both anchor the tongue?
The geniohyoid is more directly, but they both form the what I'm looking for, structure. Wow, that anchors the tongue. Okay, so you can see here's the geniohyoid bone, muscle right there, and then the tongue attached to it. Two parts of the tongue, the oral part, the anterior 2/3, and then the pharyngeal part. And then these guys right here would be that bumpy part right there. What's that? What's tonsil? Lingual tonsil. Okay. The surface of the tongue is covered in the papillae, and then the taste buds are located, and actually smaller, located along the sides of the papillae. So when we call a sore taste bud, we actually are thinking about a sore papilla, not a sore taste bud. It's actually little taste buds are tucked in the edges there. Okay. All right, some muscles of the tongue, just a few of them I want you to know. In general, we have the intrinsic muscles. We don't need to know them, just know that they are, and they're innervated by the hypoglossal nerve. Then we have the extrinsic muscles, and I just want you to know three of them. Hyoglossus, which kind of runs laterally to the genioglossus. The genioglossus is the major root of the muscle, the root of the tongue, and then the palaetoglossus. It's a little one here, but it becomes important in the arches in the back of the throat. All of these except the palaetoglossus are innervated by the hypoglossal nerves. These are all hypoglossal nerve. Palaetoglossus is innervated by the vagus. Okay. All right. and then here's just another picture of the genioglossus. You can see it coming down and anchoring the tongue down to the floor of the oral cavity. All right, so here's the innervation of the tongue. I already mentioned the motor here, so hypoglossal nerve, everything but the palatoglossus, which is the vagus nerve. Sensory, so the anterior 2/3 of the oral portion of the tongue. The mandibular nerve provides general sensation, so that would be touch, pain, all that good stuff. And then special sensation is by the facial nerve. Remember, that's via the chorda tympani, and that's taste perception. The posterior 1/3, or pharyngeal part, then we have the glossopharyngeal nerve taking care of both general and special sensation. Okay, here, just a quick foray into the salivary glands again. So our submandibular glands, we have the large part of it, the superficial parts underneath the myohyoid muscle, and then we have a large duct leading to space just underneath the tongue. And then for the sublingual gland, we have a bunch of small ducts that lead out to underneath the base of the tongue. And then remember, they receive their parasympathetic innervation via the lingual nerve. Okay. All right, underneath the tongue, so we can see here the openings of the sublingual gland ducts right along here, and then the submandibular ducts going opening through there.
Can you use a different color?
Huh?
When you're drawing it, can you use a different color?
Absolutely. Is that better?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. And then, of course, we should know the deep lingual vein. It's the major superficial vein of the underside of the tongue. And then we've seen the image like this before. This just adds a little extra detail from what we've seen. So major point is, remember, we've got our branches of our facial nerve, the chorda tympani, coming down, joining in with the lingual nerve to provide the parasympathetic innervation to all glands below the oral fissure. So that's our sublingual, submandibular glands, a bunch of other ones that we're not going to talk about. We have our parotid gland, innervated by, what's number 9 again? I can never remember the name. Glossopharyngeal, thank you. Gosh. And then above the oral fissure, all the glands are innervated by the greater petrosal nerve here, which again is a branch off of the facial nerve. Coming up, innervating. So that would be the lacrimal glands, mucosal glands in the nasal cavities. Etc. Yes?
Did you say that the chorda tympani joins with a different nerve?
The lingual nerve.
Okay.
So this is the lingual nerve right here.
Oh, okay.
Okay, any other questions? Alright. Alright, so then we've got the soft palate, a couple of muscles that are important in it. Oh, these were terrible. Let's see if we can zoom in on them. Oh, they're dreadful. Okay, well, I'll just write it out then. Okay, so this is the levator, belly, palatini. Here. And it's the muscle that elevates the soft palate above neutral position. You can see it pulling the soft palate up. And then the palatopharyngeus depresses the soft palate. Right. And so then that palatopharyngeus is what underlies the palatopharyngeal arch. So this is that palatopharyngeus muscle tucked in under there, forming that arch. The palatoglossal muscle that we talked about with the tongue, that is what forms this palatoglossal arch here. Excuse me. And so contraction of this muscle, in addition to moving the tongue, would depress this arch. And then, of course, here we have movement of the arch here by the palatopharyngeus muscle. Okay, so then here's the palatoglossus, kind of in this funny diagram. See it coming here, arch, here's the palatopharyngeus again. And what nerve innervates these again?
Vagus?
Vagus nerve. Yep. Remember, the palatoglossus is the only muscle of the tongue that is innervated by the vagus nerve. The rest of them are on hypoglossal nerve. Okay, so then there's damage to vagus nerves, and here's vagal nerve damage. It'll cause drooping of the arches and the uvula to deviate away from the side of the damage. So the damage is on this side. Okay, because there's no longer tension maintaining the arch, and so it's going to just pull that whole side down and cause deflection of the uvula.
So it's away from the damage?
Away from the damaged side. Okay. With hypoglossal, and this I forgot to put in your notes, I was in a hurry apparently, is that hypoglossal damage is going to cause movement of the tongue as it's protruded. It's going to move towards the side of the damage. This is because the tongue muscles are separated completely by a septum. So if one side's not working properly, the other side still can protrude the tongue properly in the other end. So this would be the muscles protruding the tongue properly, and these guys are just sitting there not doing a whole lot. Okay, so here's kind of a little way of remembering it. Uvula ends with A, so that's away. Tongue starts with T. Damage, it moves towards the damaged side. Okay. All right, teeth. So usually the mouth is divided into 4 quadrants. We have upper left and right quadrants, lower left and right quadrants. So we can divide this in 2 to get 1 quadrant over here. And in the adult, we have in each quadrant 2 incisors, 1 canine, 2 premolars, and 3 molars. They're numbered from front to back, so premolar 1, premolar 2, molar 1, 2, 3, etc. Molar number 3 is what we usually call the wisdom teeth. And they're overcrowding, obviously we have them removed. They don't always show up. I'm missing my wisdom teeth on my top, they never grew in. So 2 less teeth they had to remove, and that was good. So I had a hard enough time with the 2 that were removed. Oh my gosh. Okay, so that's adult teeth. This is a child, example of child. The teeth aren't that much different in size between the adult and the child, so there's fewer of them. So they have 2 incisors, 1 canine, and then just 2 molars per quadrant. And so then when the jaw grows big enough, then we add the rest of the premolars and molars. Excuse me. And then just functionally, remember canines and incisors, sharp edged, used for tearing the food. Premolars and molars have that flattened grinding surface to grind or crush the food. And then just a note on the upper molars, you see the roots come right up next to the maxillary sinus. Sometimes if they're longer, a person has longer roots, they can kind of protrude into the maxillary sinus. So this means infection or inflammation in the maxillary sinus can often make those teeth hurt. Okay. All right, innervation of the teeth. So the lower teeth are innervated by the inferior alveolar nerve, which is a branch of the mandibular nerve. And we'll see the word alveolar a lot in this region of the anatomy. This refers to anything pertaining to the teeth. Okay. The upper teeth innervated by the maxillary nerve, branch to the maxillary nerve. And these are the anterior, middle, and posterior superior alveolar nerves. You got that bunch of 3 there.
Did you say those are branches?
Branches of the maxillary nerve. Okay. So then, if we look at the individual teeth on the lower teeth, all of them are innervated by the same nerve, that inferior alveolar nerve. Whereas on the upper, the canines and incisors are innervated by the anterior. The premolars are innervated by the middle. And the molars are innervated by the posterior, superior alveolar nerve. All right, vasculature. So, we're talking about branches off the maxillary artery. One of the main ones is the greater palatine, the palatine artery. And it is going to innervate the palate. There's the palate there. You can see it there. Then, we talk about the teeth. We have this alveolar word coming in again. So again, branches off the maxillary artery and then draining into the maxillary vein. So here are our anterior, superior, alveolar artery and vein. And then the posterior, superior, alveolar artery and vein. And then again, branches off the maxillary artery and vein give us the inferior alveolar artery and vein. All those veins then drain into the pterygoid plexus, and from there head back into the rest of the body. And then finally, lymph drainage of the oral cavity. So we have the submental nodes and submandibular nodes taking care of the lower portion. The upper portion goes directly to the deep cervical nodes, and then these guys all travel to the deep cervical nodes as well. That is officially the end of anatomy.
All right.
questions about anything? No? Okay, so Monday we'll meet if you decide you want to be here for a review for the exam. I will be here. Chat through whatever things are causing difficulty. Tuesday we have our exam. And then next Wednesday, week from this Wednesday is to be the final. And we'll have our review for that on Thursday at 1 p.m. All right, have a great weekend.
Wednesday and Thursday.